So you're thinking about moving here to Sacramento. Just get that right out of your head. Don't even think about it. Sacramento's really hot. You know, the one-way streets on the grid are enough to drive your GPS crazy. The truth is, we don't have an In-N-Out burger on every corner. I don't even know how we survive here. But seriously, if you want the full story about living here in Sacramento, that way you can kind of see if the negatives that you've heard are legit or if they're just a bunch of BS. So stick around, because we're about to dive into really the worst parts of living here in Sacramento. I'm going to show you whether, these are things that are going to cause you to want to really, let's say, avoid Sacramento like the plague. Maybe you'll decide that these are the things that kind of make Sacramento one of the best kept secrets in all of California. Now, if this is your first time on the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. That way you can be the first to get all the important details, of course, the market here in Sacramento, California. I'm Reese, real estate broker and Sacramento expert, and I've lived in this area my entire life. My team and I love helping people make their move here to Sacramento. Doesn't matter if you're relocating, moving up or down, or maybe even just investing. And it could be 9 days or 9 months from now. Go ahead and reach out anytime. All our contact information is in the description below. We would love to help you, really make a smooth move here to Sacramento. So let's start with the first really big negative, right? It gets pretty hot here in Sacramento. 110, 115 degree summers is pretty common. We've even hit the 120 mark before. Not super common though. On the flip side, it's not like the Bay Area where it's all foggy and gloomy and so cold you can't even enjoy being on the coastline, right? And it's not like LA either, where it's hot and humid. Who wants to deal with that all day, right? So funny story, I had a client moving here from the southern East Coast, and we were talking about the heat here. And he says to me, he's like, Chris, I'll take 105, 110 degree heat all day long over 90 and 90 in Florida. What he's talking about is it's 90 degrees, but it's also 90% humidity. I mean, that's t-shirt sticking to your back all day. Can you imagine going to work like that? Now that client's, spending all summer long in his swimming pool. Negative? I don't know, maybe not. Let's not forget also that AC is really standard here in Sacramento. Nobody doesn't have AC, so any house that you would buy is probably gonna have a pretty great AC. There's lots of shade trees everywhere. Sacramento's also nicknamed the city of trees. Let's not forget, you're within like 10 to 20 minutes of water, whether it be the lake or the river, or maybe a public swimming pool. And again, you might find a house with a pool. So, heat can be a negative, but again, it's a dry heat. So another negative, one of the worst parts of living here in Sacramento, which I hear, people complain about when they're thinking about coming here, is gas prices. So, it's true. We don't have basement bargain prices on gas. But the flip side of that is Sacramento is really commuter friendly. I mean, you can get anywhere in the greater Sacramento, even Placer region, within 30 to 45 minutes, especially if you're like, hybrid or working from home. Right? It's not like in LA where you're going to be burning half a tank of gas sitting on the 405, creeping along, right? Crying into your oat milk latte. Plus, electric vehicles are kind of booming in this area, and they're putting the chargers everywhere. So a lot of my clients are kind of skipping the gas problem altogether. Another common concern that I hear is that there's nothing to do here in Sacramento. There's no nightlife. Well, yeah, we don't have cable cars and there's no Walk of Fame to hang out, but Sacramento will actually surprise you when it comes to lifestyle. I mean, what do you want? Fine dining? You want breweries, artwork? We've got live music, sports, and all without, $40 in parking fees and a 1 to 2 hour commute to get there in bumper to bumper traffic. And that's not including day trips. I mean, we've got Tahoe, we've got Napa, we've got the Bay Area, all within like 1 to 3 hours. And I mean, think about that. That's like just driving across town in LA sometimes, right? You can do this. You can go to a concert on Friday night in the Bay Area, Saturday hike the Sierra Mountains, and then get up early on Sunday morning and go to breakfast at Sealands. Funny story about nightlife. I had this client that they moved into Sac because they really wanted kind of lots of nightlife and lots of action. There was so much action that after a couple of years, they ended up moving to a quiet suburb. So if you're curious about, neighborhoods that would fit your lifestyle, check out some of our other videos where we go through the different neighborhoods, or reach out anytime. Again, all our contact information is in the description. All right, so maybe you've heard this one before. Sacramento, the place with the cows and the politicians? I mean, sure, at one time Sacramento was just a cow town, but now Sacramento is the farm-to-fork capital of the US, and it's been ranked among the top emerging tech and healthcare hubs in the state. We've got state jobs, startups, creative agencies, law enforcement, healthcare, tech. I mean, people don't just move here for affordable housing anymore. So yeah, we still have some cows here, but we've also got IPOs and public policy, and we've got people coming from all over the country to call this place home. Okay, so one of my personal pet peeves, one of the worst things about living in Sacramento is all the one-way streets. Midtown and downtown is on a one-way street grid system. If you're a new driver like I, grew up here, it's kind of like Sacramento's version of an escape room. But once you get the hang of it, it's really kind of a brilliant system. There's much less stop and go. It's much more efficient. Parking can be really easy, of course, once you learn the game. It's really a dream for walking and biking and scooters. I would say that Midtown and downtown are probably the most walkable neighborhoods in all of Greater Sacramento. And that one-way street traffic confusion, that's really just a rite of passage. Once you get the hang of it, you're good. Another common complaint is there's no parking on the grid. Yeah, parking in Midtown can get pretty tight, especially during like a big event or second Saturday or something like that. But let's be real. I mean, isn't that what city life is like? If you're going to live downtown or in Midtown, just realize most of the homes have driveways or permit zones for parking. And honestly, most things are, within a few blocks of where you're at. Worst case scenario, you have a little 5-minute walk and you burn off some extra calories. Right? Funny story. One of my clients, they didn't buy on the grid. They bought a little bit out in one of the surrounding neighborhoods. They have to commute in, so they were nervous about parking. But now, he's on a first name basis with his favorite food truck that's near his office. That 5-minute walk, it's really become like the favorite part of his day. So if you really love public transit, you're not going to like hearing this. We don't have a lot of it in the greater Sacramento area. On the grid, yes. So Midtown and downtown and really in the tight little neighborhoods around it, there's buses and regional transit. It works pretty well. When you get into the burbs, not so much. So the reality is, most people here drive, or they carpool, or they work remotely, or they have a kind of a hybrid situation where it's a little of both. However, the city is expanding light rail, and they've already added and continue to add like e-bike programs, and there's more development coming. But for now, if you're going to live in the burbs and not on the grid, you're going to want to drive. So you're not stuck. If you're a little bit flexible and you can live outside of the grid in one of the surrounding neighborhoods or even one of the suburbs, you're going to find, larger homes and bigger yards and more parks around and probably better schools. These are all things that you don't typically find in like a heavy transit metro type area, like living in Midtown or downtown Sacramento. So a lot of options if you can be a little bit flexible. And of course, if you're contemplating, do we want to live on the grid or do we want to live in one of the outside neighborhoods? And you need some help trying to kind of figure out what's better for you and your lifestyle. Don't hesitate to reach back out or check out one of our other videos. So there you have it. The worst things about living here in Sacramento. Or are they? Are they possibly maybe some of the best things about living? Hot summers or poolside season? Really high gas prices or short commutes? Are we just a cow town or are we the state's growing capital? Is there really nothing to do here? Or is it the perfect mix of nightlife and outdoor activities and being close enough to day trips to really make it worth your while with such affordable housing? Is parking and public transit like a nightmare? Or are we really talking about walkability and balancing? The truth is that, Sacramento does not want to be San Francisco or Los Angeles. We do our own thing here. And if you can navigate the quirks, it's really perfect balance of all worlds. Lifestyle, affordability, accessibility, and culture all in one place. So hopefully I've dispelled some of those negative myths about living here in Sacramento, California. It really is a great place. If you're thinking about moving here, or just want to talk about it, don't hesitate to reach out, drop a comment or shoot me a direct message, or better yet, just pick up the phone and call. My team and I love helping people figure out where they want to be in Sacramento, relocating here, making that a smooth move. Before you go, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. That way you can be the first to get all the important details about Sacramento and of course know about the market here. Till next time, I'll see you around on the next video. That's a wrap.